Hello my little babes out there and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to play with the new TropiCOLOR palette from Sydney Grace. This is a collab with the beautiful Tina from the Fancy Phase, and she created this fun tropical palette. So I want to see if this is the usual good formula from Sydney Grace, create a couple looks and give you guys my thoughts on this palette. But before we get into this video, if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Bree and I'm just a crazy lover of all things beauty, and I like to post a lot of fun and colorful makeup content. I like to do a lot of indie makeup, so if that is what you're into, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. But with that being said, let's get into this video. So Miss Tina came through with this palette. I'm so excited. Like, the color story is so beautiful and I love her channel, which she is the Fancy Face on YouTube, and she's funny, she's charismatic, like she has just such a good vibe and energy. I love her makeup style. She's super creative and she just seems like such a fun person. So I love that she is doing another collab, and she is doing it with a brand that I love. Sydney Grace is a smaller indie brand and they make amazing eyeshadows. They're very high quality, great products. They make great blushes, great lip creams, and I've enjoyed everything that I've tried from them. So to see two amazing things come together, like an amazing creator, an amazing brand, create something together is so exciting. So I'm very happy and can't wait to get into this palette. Now I'll give you guys like all the info, do some swatches, and then we'll get into a couple looks. But this is what it looks like up close. She created this beautiful like design and like the colors in the back. It looks like artwork with like a little bit of like island vibe to it. This is the back of it. And I will make sure to link her launch video and any video she did like creating looks with this palette, so you can hear her thought process, like how she created this, what made her like pick the shades and everything. She even gives you all the details behind the shade names, and you get to learn about Jamaica, where she's from. Like, she gives you some history and information, and I think that was so fascinating. Like, I really enjoyed hearing her break down the meaning of the shadows and what inspired her to create these colors. But this is what it looks like inside. There's a big mirror, and here are all the shades. It has so many options in this palette, and it is a mixture of mattes and metallics. Like, it's absolutely stunning. And she talked about how she wanted this to be a colorful palette, but more on the wearable side. So you could do neutral looks if you wanted to, and maybe do it with like a pop of color, or you could do something, you know, quite colorful. So I love her thought process on this. She has depth in here, midtones, pastels. It is really pretty. Now this palette goes for $60, which is on the higher end, but Sydney Grace is an indie brand, so they're a little bit more expensive, but they do create really high quality shadows. And then it is a collab, so they usually go up higher on the price so they can accommodate for, you know, making sure the creator gets money, the brand gets money, and all that. So I get it. I think you have a lot of options, and I'm going to let you know if it's worth that $60 price tag, if this is a really banging formula or not. I have no doubt that it is, but we are about to find out, because I'm going to create a couple looks with this, and then I will give you guys my thoughts at the end. But I think I should get a little closer and we should just dive in, because I want to put these shadows on my eyes. So I need to put on some eye primer. I'm going to use the Glam Light Icing Eyeshadow Base and Buttercream. I'm just going to put that all over the lids. This is also a really good eye primer, one of my favorites. So I'm just going to put that here. I just like that it has like a color to it, so it definitely like leaves a nice blank canvas on the lids. Alright, so the primer is on. I did not set it. I never set my primer. So I want to start off with the shade called Rum Raisin. I'm going to use that as a transition shade. It looks like a cooler toned brown, like milky brown. I'm going to take this rougher 26 brush and I'm going to use that through the crease. Ooh, okay. She's pigmented. She's very pigmented. I feel like I need a fluffier brush for this. I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm going to get something a little bit more fluffy. I think this will work. And use that so I can kind of fluff it a little bit more and diffuse it, because the brush I was using was kind of packing it on too much, and I want it to be more of a softer transition shade. So this shadow is really nicely pigmented. You can build it up if you want it to be darker, or you can sheer it out and get it to be more diffuse. But that's what I love about Cindy Grace. They have such beautifully pigmented mattes that are very blendable. So now I'm going to take this brush that I was using before because I want to pack something on the outer corner. This is the Rougher 26 brush. And I'm going to go into the shade called Maroon, which will match the shirt I have on. And I'm going to use that on the outer corner as like the deepening shade. It's a very deep kind of brownie maroon is how I would describe it. It gets like a brownie red and it's very deep. So I love that there's, you know, shades in here that you can create depth, and I can see that this is a palette that would work on all different skin tones because you have lighter shades, you have mid-tones, and you have deepening shades. So I think everyone could find shadows in here that would work for them and be able to like create completed looks. Now I want to start doing some shimmers. I think I'm going to take a different color on the lower lash line, so we'll get to that in a moment. But I want to take the shade called Tropical Punch, which is like a kind of fuchsia-y maroon shade. This one looks like maybe it's a little bit more like a satin. So I'm going to pick that up on this Rougher 28 brush. So this is definitely like the type of shade I could see would also work if you wanted to use it almost like a matte, like in the crease, because it's more satin-like. But it's a very beautiful fuchsia color. Like I said, I wanted to mix color and nudie shades together. So I'm just putting that closest on the like outer corner to that deeper like maroon shade, which I'll have to bring some of that back. So the next shade that I want to go into is this like taupey metallic, and on Tina's video she mentioned it as Hillshire is how they say it in Jamaica. I mean, it looks like you would say Hillshire, but that's how they pronounce it there. So I'm going to call it Hillshire, like how she said. And I'm going to take the same brush, the Rougher 28 brush, and I'm going to put it on the brush here, and I'm going to wet it and do all that so we can get this to be nice and smooth and have it glide on. Yeah, it's like a very cool tone, taupey, kind of deeper, I guess gunmetal color you could call it. It's pretty though. I love these kind of shades. They pair so nicely with like cool tone, like mattes and other like cool tone shades. It's definitely like a more, you know, traditional metallic formula, but it's very smooth, very creamy, and it glides on really nicely. So now I want to take one more shimmer on the lid. I want to go into the shade called Dr. Bird, which this one looks like it's duochrome. Like it has a shift. It looks a little bit more foiled. So I was thinking I would put that in between Hillshire, is that how you say it? And Tropical Punch, and like right in the center, just to add something different. And I feel like it's kind of a good in-between color between the Tropical Punch and that, you know, taupey silver shade. So now I want to use, I think, blue on the lower lash line. Hopefully that doesn't look weird. But I think it's all going to work since everything is a little bit more on the cool tone side on the lid. So I'm going to start off with the grill right here. And I'm going to use that on the outer corner. And I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to stamp that. It's just a nice deep like navy blue, I would describe it. And I'm just going to press that on the lower lash line. But now I'm going to take the same brush, I just kind of cleaned it, and I'm going to go into Waterfall. This looks like a really beautiful shade. So I'm going to pick that up. Then I'm going to wet it because I don't want to have too much fallout from that shade. And I'm going to use that over here in the inner portion and kind of overlap it onto that deep blue matte that we have. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty. Now I want to use Wolmer's right here, this light pastel blue, and I'm going to use that to blend out the edges of that dark blue down here, just so I can soften things up and make things look a little bit more diffused. Now I want to take that same shade and use it in the inner corner, the warmer shade right here, and see how pigmented that is and if it will work as a like inner corner highlight. So I love using pastel shades for that. Ooh, yeah, she's pigmented. She is pigmented. I do feel like maybe it's a little darker than I would want it to be. I want it to be a little brighter. So I'm gonna try this one called, I think it's Blue Mahoy. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I feel like it's maybe a little bit lighter. Oh yeah, yeah, that's a little bit of a lighter blue tone. I think I want to take this shade called Coconut. This looks like kind of like an off-white color. It almost looks like there's kind of a sheen to it. I don't know how to describe it. It's not really a satin, but there's something kind of sheeny about it. So I'm gonna put that over that. Oh, there we go. Yes, that can lighten up a shade real well. Yeah, see, I wanted it to be even lighter, and I think that did the job. Oh my gosh, it is pigmented, and there is a little bit of a sheen to it. Alright, so I think this turned out really nicely. I like the combo. I find it very interesting and different. So I'm going to go off camera, do my liner, mascara, figure out something for my lips and my waterline, and I will be right back to show you guys the finished look. Alright, I am back, and here is the finished look. What do you guys think of this combo? I think it came out really nice. Like the taupey vibes on the lid with like a little bit of fuchsia, and then the blue on the bottom. This pastel blue inner corner highlight is everything. I love using pastel mattes as an inner corner highlight. It just gives you a fun little pop of color. And I like the combo. Like, I think this turned out really nicely. Like, to me, this is more of a muted neutral look with a pop of color. Now, some people would say this is super colorful. I mean, it's based on like what your preferences and what you're used to wearing on the lids. But for me, this is a little toned down with some, you know, pop of blue, and I really love it. And a little pop of fuchsia. It's a very cool tone. And, you know, it turned out better than I expected. Like, I just went in blind and tried to mix something different, and I really like how it turned out. So what I did off camera was I went in with one of the Cindy Grace lip creams and Haley. It's like a deeper cool tone, like mauve shade. And then for my waterline, I went in with the Lethal Cosmetics gel liner in Analog, which is a pastel blue to match the inner corner. I used the Beauty For Real High Def Mascara. I tight line with the Trestique pencil. It's just a black pencil. And that is everything I did off camera. I didn't do anything else. Oh no, I used a Huda Beauty liner to create a wing. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing, but that is all that I did to complete this look. I'll get close so you guys can really see it. And there's like a little bit of a shift from that shade that's in the center. So I think that's cool too. But yes, that is everything for look number 1. So I think I'm now ready to get into look number 2. Let's get into this. So I did prime my eyes with the Glam Light Icing Eyeshadow Base Primer and Buttercream, in case you're wondering, and I did not set it. So let's get into it. So I want to do a greeny look. So I'm going to start off with the shade called Palm Trees. And I'm taking this Kaleidos, what is this, S2 brush. I'm going to dust off the excess because the shadows in here are on the powdery side. So you definitely want to dust off the excess so you don't have any, you know, fallout from these shades. Or do your, you know, eye makeup before you go in with your base. I just prefer to do my base first. But I'm just kind of stamping it on to the crease. And then I'm going to slowly blend out the edges. Now I want to blend out the edges, and I want to use the shade called Sunrise. You know, I love a good yellow. If you've been watching me for some time now, it's my favorite shade to use to like blend out the edges of green shades and other shades because it adds a little bit of warmth to the look, can make it look a little bit more grungy, and I just love it. So I'm going to use that on the edge of this green and slowly work the edges out so we can get it all diffused. So now I want to use the shade called Negril, the deep blue matte, and I want to use that on the outer corner as the deepening shade, and I'll probably take a little bit of Cocoa Beans, which is a very deep, like black and brown shade, and it looks like it's a little deeper than this Negril shade, so I'm going to use that too, just a little bit. And I'm just going to work that on the outer corner. I'm not going to bring it too far into the crease. I just want it to be concentrated on this outer corner. So I'm just stamping it in and kind of slowly diffusing that into the green. Now I want to get a little darker and go into cocoa beans. I'm going to take this big pencil brush from BH Cosmetics. It was from the It's My Ray Ray collection. This is so old, so I'm pretty sure they don't have this anymore. But I'm just going to concentrate that on the outer corner. I'm not going to take it too far up. I'm going to kind of do it at an angle, almost like creating almost like a full wing with it. Keeping it pretty low to the lash line. I don't want it to get too smoky, so that's why I'm trying to keep it a little bit more concentrated right there. Now I want to go into some of the shimmers because I'm not sure what I want to do on the lower lash line, but I want to use Cane Fields and Rainforest. Let's swatch it. Like, these are the shades that look so pretty. There's a green. This is more like a tealy blue. I think I'm going to use this on the outer edge and then that in the inner portion. I feel like the tealy one's a little bit brighter. So I'm going to take this ColourPop flat shader brush and I'm going to go into Cane Fields, the green metallic, pick it up on the brush, and I'm going to wet it with just some water. And I'm going to concentrate that right there next to the deep mattes on the outer corner. I'm going to do kind of at an angle. Yeah, this is a beautiful, like, deeper green, like a foresty green. It's really pretty. It's very smooth. It's a very traditional metallic, just very smooth and creamy. Now I'm going to clean off the ColourPop brush and go into the Rainforest shade. This is such a beautiful bluey teal. I'm also going to wet it with some water. And I'm going to use that just in the inner portion. And have it go into the green metallic. So I do want to add something different on the lower lash line so I can use more shade. So I'm going to take the shade called Milk River, which is like an orangey pumpkin shade, which I love. And I'm going to use this Rougher 28 brush. And I'm going to stamp that down here along the lash line. Hopefully this doesn't look crazy, but I think orange and greens go very well together. So yeah, so I'm going to take the brush that I used with the yellow shade Sunrays. I'm going to pick up some more of that yellow shade and I'm going to use that to blend out the edges of the orange down here. Add some of that warmth and goodness on the lower lash line too. So now I need to do something in the inner corner. Of course, I'll go back and work on the blend and all that. But I want to go into the shade Coconut, which I don't know how to describe this one. It's like a satiny matte, like a sateen. I mean, it's not really a satin, but it's not really a matte. It's very different, and there's like a sheen to it. So I'm gonna use this pencil brush from Kaleidos, and I'm just gonna pick it up on the brush. I'm not gonna wet it since it's kind of like a matte, and I'm gonna use that to brighten the inner corner. And it does an excellent job. So I use this in the first look, and I topped it on like the blue, like the pastel blue. Like, look at that. That is stunning as an inner corner highlight. Wow, it is so pigmented, and then it has just a nice little slight sheen to it. It's so pretty. Alright, so I think that's it for the look. I like how it turned out, and I was able to use a good amount of shades on this look. So I'm gonna go finish off my eye look off camera, do my lashes, mascara, all that good stuff, and then I will be right back to show you guys the completed look. Okay guys, I am back, and here is the finished look. This is how it turned out. I didn't do anything crazy off camera. I'll get a little closer so you guys can see. But I love this. I think it looks really pretty. I like the combo of the green, the teal, the little bit of warmth, the orange pop on the bottom. Everything performed really nicely, and I'm also quite happy with how this turned out. I just did more simple. I didn't add extra details, no gems, no liner. I've been doing that a lot. I just wanted to stick to the shadows and do something simple, you know, mascara, liner, and all that. But what I did off camera was I went in with the Kaleidos Cloud Lip Clay in Skinship. It's a nice nude. I just wanted to keep it a little toned down on the lips. And then I did use the Huda Beauty liner to create a wing. I also used the Beauty For Real High Def mascara. And then in my waterline, I have the Udin's Eye Salmone Gel Liner in 2. It's an orange to match the orange, matte that I had down here. And I think basically that's it. Normally I do a bunch of other things, but I am cool with this. I think it looks really pretty. I love the vibrancy in the inner corner and the combo. It's tropical, but still like on the muted end. It's not like super vibrant and like in your face, but it's still colorful. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I'll give you guys one more look through. Okay, yeah, that's it. So I am going to zoom out a little bit and put my hair down and give you guys my final like first impressions on this palette so we can wrap up this video. Alright loves, we made it to the end and I really enjoyed playing with this palette. I think Tina did an amazing job, and her color selection, her packaging, the color story, you can really see her in the palette. Like, she brought Jamaica into this and I just love it. I really enjoyed the looks that I was able to create. I feel like I could create like totally different looks. I feel like this is a very approachable palette if you're a nudie lover and you're trying to get into color, because they're more on the muted, more wearable side, and they're easy to work with. Like, Cindy Grace has an amazing formula, and this is consistent to their other palettes. The mattes are pigmented, they're blendable, you can diffuse them, you can build them up. I love that there's a range here, like you can go from deep to light, so you have midtones, lighter mattes, you have deeper mattes. You have things that you can use in the inner corner, so I feel like you can create completed looks with this palette. I really, really do like it. Now, Cindy Grace doesn't have my favorite formula when it comes to metallics. They're definitely more on the traditional side. They're very creamy, they're very smooth, but they're not necessarily extra dimensional or extra shifty. I think the only one that has like a shift to it is this Dr. Bird one. At least that's what I noticed. But they're just not going to be like super bam, sparkly extraness on the eyes, and that's what I prefer, but not everybody prefers that. Some people really just love a good traditional metallic, like that will get the job done, and I think they perform nicely. But overall, I really love this palette, and I think Cindy Grace and Tina did an amazing job, so congratulations to them. I'm so happy to have this in my life, and I can't wait to use it more, create some more looks. But you guys will have to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you pick up this palette? Did you pass? Like, what are your thoughts? I would love to hear from all of y'all. And if you're new here and you enjoy this video and you like a lot of fun and colorful makeup content, you like a lot on indie makeup, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. I'd love to have you here. Also, don't forget to check out the description below. I will link the palette where you can find it. I think Tina has a code, so I'll put her code in the description. I think you can get 15% off on the palette, which is even better. You can get a deal. I will also link other videos of mine you might be interested in watching. I will also have my makeup link, like in case you're wondering like what's on my face, like my foundation and everything. And I will also have my contact and my social media platforms linked. I'm also on Instagram as Breezy Lifestyle and Breezy_Beauty, and I do a lot of other content there as well. So if you want to join my Instagram fam, I would really, really love that. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, for being here, supporting me, and just being amazing. And I just hope you guys are all doing well wherever you are in the world, and I'm just sending you all so much light and love. But until next time, bye guys.